Okay, we're live. All right, good afternoon, everybody, good evening, and I guess I'll call the meeting to order. And the first item on the agenda, first I want to thank everybody, particularly Tim, for getting this agenda posted. Will be the acceptance of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to read over all the documents? Read over all the documents that Tim sent out? We so kind.
Yep.
All right, do I hear a motion to accept the agenda as posted?
So move.
All right, so moved by Sharon Salasky. Second, anybody?
Second.
Second by Deborah, thanks. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition, carries unanimously. All right, thank you. Then the announcements of the town election results. We had an election, and I guess both Sharon and Sue won. Thank you, congratulations. And my understanding, I guess there was some type of error in the situation, but I talked to Sue Copeland, the town clerk, and she says, and maybe you've already been sworn in, I don't know, but she says she'll swear you in, one for the 3-year, one for the 2-year term, and that will be fine. Have you been sworn in yet, ladies?
I have.
Sue?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, who's got the 3-year and who's got the 2-year?
I have the 2.
All right. Sue, you got the 3.
Okay.
Okay, and then announcements, resignation of board member Julie DeWalt. I really feel badly about this. I mean, probably everybody's seen her email. And, I think it's worth a brief discussion. She put 2 reasons down on the email. One was the situation relative to the open meeting law, which is a state law. It's not a town bylaw, it's a state law. And the interpretation the town has, and Copeland and Page is the town council for K&P they call it now, because Lenny Copeland is retired. He was the founder of the law firm. And they've got about 150 towns or whatever. When I was town council years ago, things were much different, I suppose, in those days. But, that's the interpretation that Copeland and Page K&P has, that you have to have, even the subcommittees, have to abide by, comply with the open meeting law, which is, and Deborah, you were very kind to register and let us know on that. And that's what I thought. And I called the Attorney General's office and I checked with the Attorney General too. And by the way, Miss Healy, Attorney Healy's office, AG Healy's office was wonderful. He got right back to me in less than an hour. So I mean, I think Julie felt a little, I don't know, like it was sort of a paternalistic way that the Copeland and Page K&P, the town council, interpreted the bylaw, I'm sorry, the open meeting law, not the bylaw. And, be that as it may, she decided to resign. But the other reason she listed too, and I talked to Tim about it, and Tim said he or Sam would make themselves available for the strategic planning, even though it is a situation. Maybe we can take that up later when we talk about the strategic plan. But I guess if anybody, Laurie Sabo, maybe, if anybody, don't feel pressure, Laurie, but if anybody's interested in getting on the board, please let us all know, and I'd be more than happy to try to get somebody appointed to fill out her term, I guess. I think she was just made a permanent trustee anyways. But I mean, does anybody else have anything they want to say? And I do feel badly. I sent an email to her on behalf of everybody saying how we're going to miss her, and miss her enthusiasm, miss her drive and her guidance and her interest in particularly the strategic plan and also the library as a whole. So if anybody else wants to say anything, I'm willing to certainly hear anybody.
I'd just like to say I thought she was an excellent board member, and she'll really be missed.
Mm-hmm.
She will.
Yeah, absolutely. She had a lot of energy and was really willing to step up to do things. And I'm really heartbroken that she's decided to step down. I tried very hard the night before she sent that letter to convince her to stay, but it didn't work out.
No, I feel badly, and I asked her, I said, well, look, if you got your mind made up, why don't you just wait a while, wait till the meeting anyway, or, don't just resign right away, but she did, and, so be it. I mean, I feel badly, but, I mean, I wasn't going to try to, I didn't want to be accused of trying to talk her out of it in such a strenuous way. I just wish she'd taken a little more time, but that's fine. I mean, I've kind of accepted it, and I'm going to miss her. I agree with everything you ladies have just said about her. She's a wonderful person, very energetic, and has a lot of great ideas and a lot of zeal and zest for the board, and she will be missed. But and if anybody, I shouldn't even suggest this, I guess, but if anybody knows her very well and wants to call her up and say, listen, we'd love to have you tear up that letter, literally or figuratively. I'd be happy if she wants to do that, but I don't want to be bothering her. I don't want to sound like I'm browbeating her, I guess.
Can I just ask a question in the middle of this?
Sure.
It looks like I'm viewing Tim Silva's screen, and I have everything printed out, and I don't want to view his screen. It's all the agenda and this and that. It's up. How do I get rid of that? Does anybody know?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, I'd have to stop sharing my screen. So,
nothing thing.
Okay, so I can only see a couple people though, because the meeting agenda is taking up the whole
Actually,
screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Arrow at the top of the screen, the bottom of the screen to scroll through all the participants.
So does the agenda have to be up there? Is it the open law that the agenda has to be on there?
well, I'm sharing it for the participants who, the people who may be attending this meeting that,
I see. Okay.
didn't get
That's what I was
a copy
asking.
beforehand.
If it has to be, if it's part of the open law that it has to be on the screen.
Deb, are you concerned that you don't have access to other things on your computer?
Well, it's just that I couldn't see everybody. That's all.
Okay.
So I can live, I know what you all look like. I guess I'll hear you when you speak. That's all. That's okay.
Well, I also would rather look at everybody too. I mean, I'm more of a visual person, whatever. Be that as it may. I mean, I've got the agenda printed out, but I understand it's got to be available for other people who might just be tuning in from TV land. So be it.
Okay. All right. No problemo. I was looking, how to like resize, moving things around, but.
So the next item on the agenda would be public comment. I don't know if there is anybody from the public out there. I know Laurie Sabal is here. And is there anybody else here from the public? Is there any public comment more significantly? Now would be the time to speak up, if you don't mind. Or any of the board members want to use public comment to say anything else, to bring up anything?
I just want to ask, we decided to put together a strategic planning committee, and Julie was the chair because she was the most active and most interested in it. Now that she's dropped out, we really do need a chair. And I don't know, it's not my place to ask, but does anybody want to be a chair? As far as, I'd like to keep that going. That had some momentum to it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Deborah, and I'd like to keep it going. Frankly, I was going to bring that up under strategic plan, but
yeah, we'll have a chance to talk about that further down the agenda.
Sounds great.
Okay, we'll bring that up in the strategic plan. All right. All right. Any other public comment? Any other comment? All right. Hearing none and trying to keep us to right on time here. 6:10. Review of the board calendar for fiscal year 21. And Mr. Silva was kind enough to send that out, I guess, and I've got it here in my pile of documents. Has everybody got the review of the calendar?
Bob, I'm sorry, Bob, hold on a second. I just wanted to go back up a couple of items. We sort of recapped the town election and town meeting, and I think I emailed everybody the night of town meeting that, you know, our library budget had been accepted as part of the town's omnibus budget without any questions or comments. So as far as that goes, we're in good shape. We did discuss board membership updates, and yeah, well, I guess one thing I wanted to say just about the budget process, and Bob and I had a conversation about this a couple of days ago after the meeting, and I'm given that we're in sort of a pandemic situation and the future is very cloudy right now, I do feel fairly good about where the town's finances are and where the library is for fiscal year 21. We'll see where things stand come October. I mean, that's the next point at which there'll be a town meeting, and we may have some more information about state aid to the town of Ayer, state aid to libraries. Typically we've been getting about 11 or 12, almost $12,000 a year from the state in direct library state aid. We don't know if that will continue to show up this year, but overall, I guess I'm still feeling pretty comfortable that we should be able to weather FY21 without too much difficulty. What comes beyond that is another question, and I guess that's one of the things I think we'll discuss a little bit when we get further down the agenda here. And then just sort of a note about, and this is kind of relates to the board calendar, is the board's annual meeting typically happens in May, but given that we were quarantined for a couple of months, we couldn't do that. So I just wanted to bring that up as something that needs to get on the schedule. And I believe we did it in September of last year. We had postponed it because again, we didn't have a quorum for a couple of meetings early on in the spring, so things got pushed back.
Does that meeting have to be public and on Zoom?
It does.
Well, it has to be public.
Yeah.
Whether we're still on Zoom by September is, who knows?
Right. Thank you for that correction, Cindy.
No,
we can hope that we won't have to be on Zoom.
I was optimistic, Tim. I think it's probably going to be on Zoom, but yeah. I was being optimistic.
So are we making this that the annual meeting will be in September? Is that what we're deciding?
No. I think it's up to the board when you want to do that. I'm just pointing out that it typically is something that happens in May and happens as part of the the board's
fiscal year.
Not your fiscal year, but your bylaws and that sort of thing.
Well, what I'm thinking, and why I asked if it was having to be on Zoom, was let's schedule it now so that we can have a date that we want, that we get pushed back a few weeks or months because there's no time slot available.
Right. We probably should schedule it now. Tim, did they already pick a date for the September the fall town meeting? I know
it's in October, but I don't remember the date off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, I didn't remember the date either. I mean, just to follow up on what Tim said, I'm not quite as sanguine as Tim is about the finances of the federal government, the state government, and the town government, as it all would trickle down. And I think, Robert Pointgrand was saying at the town meeting, he thought that right now the town is in pretty good shape, fiscally, financially speaking. Whether that changes or not this fall, I don't know. I mean, you hear an awful lot about the federal government and the state government and not being able to provide as much fiscal aid to municipalities as the have in the past, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, we want to have that meeting in September before the town meeting. I would think we'd probably want to have it before the town meeting, but as close to the town meeting as we could, and we'll probably have a little better understanding about the fiscal realities in a couple of months, 3 months, 3.5 months.
Hey, this is Cindy. Town meeting in the fall is October 26th.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I thought you probably know. So,
Oh, I can look it up. I didn't remember.
yeah, but at least you got the ability to do that. So if the town meeting is October 26th, Tim, would you suggest we have our annual meeting in September, or should we wait until October before the 26th to have the annual town meeting? I'm sorry, to have the annual meeting of the library, before.
Well, looking at the September calendar, if we are not in the Zoom world, the third Tuesday, because September does start on a Tuesday, it would be September 15th, would be like our normal monthly meeting.
So
Right.
that's 5 weeks before the town meeting.
So if we're still in Zoom world, let's try to get it sometime that week, whenever.
Yeah.
I probably won't be able to do Tuesday because of the selectmen.
Yep.
That week, does that make sense? And then that gives us fallback in case we can't do it that week. It still gives us, like Sharon said, like 5 weeks until town meeting to try to get
Yeah.
it scheduled.
So that Wednesday, so it could be September the 16th, which is Wednesday, or September the 17th, which is Thursday.
I'll just put this out here as a question. Would the board prefer to have, in general, if we can't meet on Tuesdays while we're on Zoom because of other meetings that are happening, the selectmen being the primary one, do Wednesdays generally work for everybody? Because we could try to, no?
Thursdays are best.
Thursdays?
Is Wednesday really a lot better for anybody? Please say.
I can do any day.
Yeah,
So can I.
I can do either Wednesdays or Thursdays or almost any day, but Thursdays seem to be better, but
Yeah.
whatever.
So why don't we say Thursday the 17th of September then?
All right. And I'll try to book a couple of other meetings, sort of that, I don't know, the third Thursday or whatever that is, so that we can
Okay.
at least get them on the calendar and people can
Yep.
plan around them.
Right.
Do we need a
So
motion?
Tim, are you saying like for July and August that we need to continue meeting?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm going to leave that up to you guys to see, if you want to keep, meeting on a monthly basis at this point, just to keep up with kind of what's going on, or.
I don't think that we should. We've missed so many meetings already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm even for meeting more than once, because I just feel like this has been very slow. I mean, not every week, not every other week, but I mean, at minimum once a month.
Yeah. Okay.
Not
Yeah.
twice.
I think it would behoove us to meet in July and August. Hopefully we can get another board member, and things do seem to be changing very rapidly, given the pandemic and the situation, whether it be on Zoom or not on Zoom or whatever. I think it makes sense. So I'll hear a motion in.
Before you make a motion, if we are going to have meetings of the Board of Trustees in July and August, and our bylaws mandate that we reorg in May, is there any reason we can't do the election of officers in sooner? Or are there any officers that would like to step down from their current position?
Ooh.
I don't know of any reason why you couldn't do the election in July or August.
I'm sorry?
I said, I don't know any reason why you couldn't. It's just the tradition has been that it takes place in May, more or less immediately after the town elections.
Okay, but it's not in the bylaws, it's just tradition?
No, it is in the bylaw, but I don't think there's any reason why given that we couldn't meet in March or April, and the town elections were even postponed, that I think the idea was that the annual meeting would happen after the election, so that any new members could essentially be incorporated into the group at that point. And maybe an officer, a present officer had stepped down or something like that. So I don't think there's any other limitation as far as being able to reschedule the annual meeting because of conditions like a pandemic.
So, if anybody wants my job, I'm willing to give it to them. I'm willing to show them how to do it. Otherwise, I'm willing to keep going. But if anybody wants it, please don't think you're going to be hurting my feelings none.
Thank you, Cindy. Very well put. And I guess I would say, I don't have any enduring affection to be the president. If somebody wanted to take her over, that's fine with me, but I'm happy to stay on if you want to. But I guess we probably should do is pick a date. Maybe,
July and August.
Yeah, July and August. In all fairness, have a reorg meeting in July. And, if anybody's interested, kind of contact the board with Tim and let us know.
So the 16th of July is the third Thursday.
All right, so we're going to stay with Thursdays.
Yes.
So July 16th. And then August, what would August be?
August 20th.
August 20th.
We might be away, but.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the week I'm going down the Cape. Let me just check. Yeah, actually, I can kind of do this anywhere, I guess.
Yeah, now that we can all Zoom, we could just be on vacation and come to these meetings.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
No excuses.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, that August date was August 20th?
That's correct, Bob.
All right. Well, I'll be down at Cape Cod, but I'm happy to do it via Zoom on the Cape.
Thanks,
I'd like
Bob.
to make a motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we have a meeting July 16th, August 20th, September 17th, and have the new elections July 16th. So put that on the agenda. Does anybody want to? Pardon me?
Do I hear a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Deborah. That's an excellent motion.
All right, I will confirm that those dates are available with Carly as soon as possible, and we should be all set.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, and thank you, Cindy Knox, in anticipation for being available. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is scheduling discussion of board and library director goals for the coming year. Okay, so Tim Silver, I'll turn that over to you then, I guess.
Sure. So I wanted to, this sort of goes along with the, the review of the board calendar that we put together last year. Just trying to get back to some sort of schedule on which, we'll know what's coming up in the next few months, and what essentially what I'm going to be focused on going into fiscal year 21, which starts in another couple of weeks. The first priority, I think, is going to be our sort of ongoing adaptation of the library and library services while this pandemic condition continues to exist. And just to update you all, we are just getting to the end of our second week of curbside service. So we've now have morning and afternoon pickup times, and seems to be going fairly well. And we're going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future, we're going to be adding Saturday hours next week, the 27th, for pickups. And right now, we're still working essentially on the 10 to 5 hours. We haven't really gotten any requests for evening pickups at this point. And because we've divided the staff into 2 teams that, you know, are not working together, it does make it a little tricky to, you know, to add lots of additional hours onto one day or the other, just because and we've split the teams so that if somebody on one of the teams becomes infected with the coronavirus, we're going to have to quarantine that entire team, but we won't have to, you know, shut down the library operation, because we will still have the other team, hopefully healthy, to continue the operations for, you know, until we can get some of the other staff out of quarantine again. So we are going to continue to do, like I said, the curbside service for the time being. I don't anticipate us being able to open the building at all for some months at this point. We're still working on plans for, you know, trying to adapt the interior in a way that will allow us to, you know, potentially let people in on some sort of limited basis, but still, you know, allow us to clean up after them, to protect the patrons, to protect the staff. So, you know, we have plans for, you know, putting together basically, I mean, call it a giant sneeze guard or whatever you want to call it, you know, a shield that you've seen in the grocery store and places like that. We're going to be putting some of those on the service desks, and we are still waiting for some additional sort of disinfecting equipment to come in that hopefully will allow us to, you know, to clean surfaces and disinfect just sort of general areas by sort of misting the area with, you know, with a disinfectant. It'll allow us to do that a little bit, clean these areas a little bit more easily. So in the meantime, we are looking at, you know, trying to make more of the services that, you know, we have had in the past, make them available curbside. So, you know, things like allowing people to, you know, to drop off faxes and so that we can send them and then, you know, get the person a receipt, things like that. And, you know, computer access to computers is still a big thing that we're, you know, trying to figure out. I don't know if it's something we can easily make a curbside service, but you know, I am keeping my eye on what other libraries are trying to do, and you know, if we can come up with a bright idea on how to do it, I think that's what we'll try to do.
Kim, do you know if any of the neighboring town libraries are allowing access to patrons, to patrons of computers or anything?
I don't know. I don't know of any that are doing it right this moment. I have heard a rumor about Groton, but I don't know if they are if they're currently doing it. The libraries around us, I think, are mostly doing something similar to what we're doing, and that's essentially a curbside service. I think Deborah emailed everybody that, you know, Harvard is doing that. I know Shirley's been doing that, and a number of other libraries are doing curbside now also. But I don't know of anybody that is. I don't know of anybody that's bringing people into the building right now.
All right.
Could computer access be done with laptops on a table outside?
It could be. I mean, the only problem is that we need to get some laptops that we could put out there, and then figure out how to, you know, essentially schedule them and then disinfect them effectively without destroying the computer.
So the newest thing because I'm at school, what they're suggesting for anything with keyboards is buying press and seal. You put it
Mhm.
right over the keyboard, and when that patron's gone, you just rip off the press and seal, and there's been no contact.
Okay.
I
And
get,
does it? Well, we can certainly look into the press and seal thing and see.
Yeah, I can test it. I have some at home, so I'll test it. See how it works.
Okay.
Well, you can also see like when you go to stores on the keypad, that's what a lot of them have over it is the press and seal. So
Yeah. No, I mean the biggest thing is that we don't currently have any half decent laptops to put out there for people to use. So that's the biggest challenge at the moment.
We'd also have to figure out how to secure them so they don't
yeah,
walk off.
My big
I'm even saying like when the library actually opens, if the press and seal is really a legit thing, that might be something that the library might want to just do when you do open. So because they are kind of tricky to clean with the regular like rag and things like that.
Yeah, I mean we're also looking at. I mean there are like medical grade keyboards and mice, and these things that are actually sealed. You can actually put them in a dishwasher if you want to. I don't think we'll have to go that far, but we could effectively inundate those things with disinfectant in between users, and I think they'd be fine. So that's a possibility as well.
Okay, I had a question on another topic that you had just briefly gone over.
Mhm.
I loved your idea about teams. I keep suggesting that to my kids' offices, and that is brilliant. My question, though,
I'm sorry, Sue, what was the idea you loved of Tim? I didn't hear it.
is teams, that having the different teams so that you
Oh,
don't infect
teams.
the entire. But I just wanted to check and see. So if somebody is exposed, they have to be quarantined for 2 weeks away from work. Do they get sick leave? Do they continue to do they get paid while they're? I think it's so wonderful that people are willing to go the extra mile during these times and go in and take this risk. I want to make sure they get paid.
Yeah, no. So what we've been able to do up to this point is, the town has been, sort of creating basically an administrative time for, people who are home and can't work, for whatever reason. So, even if that person is a part-timer and doesn't necessarily have, sick leave as a benefit, they can, they can still get their regular weekly pay if they're at home. And I'd have to double check this with Kevin Johnston, but I think there is, if a person is sick with the coronavirus, that they would still, be able to quarantine and receive their regular pay. Sam, do you recall? I remember there was an email about this, a couple of months ago now. And I can't remember the details, but
I'm pretty sure you would still qualify for the admin.
Yeah, one way or another.
I think it would be more for if you were a part-timer who doesn't have benefits, and then
right.
I think maybe if you do have sick leave, it gets like 50-50 or something. But I'd have to. You're right. I think we got that in March, so I haven't.
many emails ago.
You would have to quarantine even if you didn't have it, if you've been exposed, right?
Yeah, that entire team would essentially get pulled from the floor, and you got to stay home, and I'm sorry, but the other 5 have to take over. The only thing with that is we might have to pull back a little on some of the services, some of the things we're doing for 5 people to run 8 hours a day for 4 days for 2 weeks, that would be a huge ask.
Yeah, so
on some of these staff members, especially because some of our staff members typically only actually work 10 hours a week, and because of way we have to do things, they've had to they have to work extra hours because, like, what are we going to do? I need the people.
Can I make a suggestion? I'm all in favor of Sue Kennedy's idea. People that are working down there, it's almost like sort of being in the front lines, not exactly the medical profession, but, on that. But let's wait and see if we do have, God forbid, a quarantine situation. And, I, for one, certainly would agree. I'd like to see, people that don't have sick leave get some type of in-kind time at home or whatever. But let's wait and see if we have to actually encounter it, unless we need to develop a plan or vote right now, which I don't think we do.
No, I don't. I think.
Town's taking care of it.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape and I do want to tip my hat to Sam, especially for for working all of this out. I mean, she's the one who really has put hours and hours into scheduling and figuring out who can come in when and how to go from when we initially opened just having 3 people each day, and then combining one of the team combining so that now we have the 2 separate teams working sort of alternating schedules. So we are like I said, I think we're in good shape at the moment, and we're going to continue to try to add to the services that we can as we go forward. But I wanted to just kind of like step back and with you guys for a moment, think a little bit more broadly about how we prepare for the uncertain future. And I guess this is why I wanted to sort of bring up the idea of the calendar and try to prioritize a few things.
Before we move on to that, can I just ask one question?
Sure.
Last meeting, Laura Sample asked about the books that are in the book sale available to patrons. I know that probably they're not all 100% alphabetized, but nobody needs a catalog of them. If somebody asks, I mean, I've used the interface now to request a book. It's so simple to use. It would be so easy for somebody to just say, is there anything in the book sale by, make up an author, Danielle Steele.
Stephen Ambrose.
Can you get me something from her? Is there any way that okay, thank you. That's a better one than Danielle Steele. I'm sorry to her fans. So, yeah, is that possibly something that could be added sooner rather than later as a service? Because that's more books. You've got so many books that are already checked out, and this would be nice for more to be available, I think.
Right. I mean, one of the things that we're actually hopeful of is that Mass Library System may be getting closer to restarting statewide delivery. It could start up. Well, it's already started for some of the bigger libraries in the state, but we're anticipating potentially in 2 to 3 weeks we might be able to again start requesting materials from other libraries as well. So it's not that I don't want to try to put books in people's hands, but and I frankly have not been down in the book sale room in a while, so I don't know what kind of shape it's in, if it would be easy to find something in there or not.
Actually, Evan organized it all the other day. So
did he? Okay.
It's beautiful right now. And in all actuality, I think we've actually given out a couple of books from it.
Okay.
Just because whatever they were requesting was like, I know it's in there, and we've grabbed it and gave it to them. We haven't advertised that.
Right.
I think that's fine. I'm not saying even that you have to advertise it, but if somebody asks for a book and it's not on the shelves, we know that it's a book sale.
Yeah.
That makes me very happy to know that's being done.
If we know it's there, we'll definitely do it. And if it's something really popular or something that you go, oh, something like that shows up in the book sale, we've been known to check. I can't say it's we're always thinking about it. But
Yeah.
if someone asks for Danielle Steele, there's a good chance there's a copy of it in there, actually.
Yeah, there is.
And and we are trying to get, we're trying to get people, what they ask for. And so even if we don't have it, if it turns out that, Shirley has a copy, and we know they're doing curbside, we'll try to get send the patron over there so they can pick it up there.
Can I ask a question? Since we're talking about the book sale, is Evan a volunteer?
No, he's an employee.
Oh, okay.
He just, there was a mess and he decided to clean it.
He was a volunteer, but we hired him on earlier this year as a library clerk.
His first day was 2 days before we shut down, so he has about 8 hours under his belt prior to this. But he volunteered for us for almost 2 years, and he's fantastic. So we've been doing that, and then in all honesty, most of the book requests at this point have actually been, I'd like 3 mysteries. We love what you pick. Just pick us stuff. So most of it's been the library staff getting to kind of play and do what we do best is, well, this sounds interesting. Maybe you'll like this. Let's hope they haven't read it.
Not to be a nudge, but we're getting kind of close on our time.
Exactly. That's right. 20 minutes left.
Oh boy,
Yes.
better
So-
move along.
So,
More question to the laptop thing. Is it possible to get donations of laptops? That it seems to me that that's the kind of thing, if you put out there on the webpage or Facebook or something public, that you could get.
yeah, the problem with that is that we are the public computers that we have in the library right now have a piece of software on them called Deep Freeze, which wipes the session clean after that person is done. So if you're getting someone else's old computer, we have to figure out a way to make it so that anybody can come up and use it, but also that the next person that comes up to use it doesn't have access to the previous person's email or whatever because they forgot to log out. So it's more of a kind of an IT management issue. And just I fear asking for used computers because we're liable to get like an old I don't know, Windows XP machine or something like that just barely runs, or it's hard to think about. Let me just continue on the sort of the library services in the big picture. One of the main technology is something that sort of goes along with adapting our operations, and one of my goals for this coming year is to continue to work on improving technology both for the staff and for patrons. So yeah, like I said, we're trying to figure out ways to get people access to devices and computer and the internet connection. All at the same time, we're in the process of trying to finish the upgrading from Windows 7 to Windows 10 for all of our staff machines. We've discovered that some of the versions of Microsoft Office that we had on our old staff machines are too old. They're 32-bit versions and they don't run on the 64-bit computers that we have now. So now we have to look into replacing, upgrading those versions of Microsoft Office. So there's a lot of work that it continues to go on with on the technology side that I think it'll be helpful once we finally get it up and running. The other thing I wanted to mention is sort of its continued work on the human resources side of things. Samantha, again, took the lead early on this year with working with Amy Leonard and with Barbara Cheeks to kind of outline and develop a performance evaluation program for the library staff. This is something that did not exist when I started here. staff were not getting sort of regular feedback about, how they were doing or their job performance. So this is something that we're trying to address. And to go along with that is, we need to develop basically a pay scale for the library staff as well. Deborah and Cindy, you guys may recall when I first started, we had a couple of discussions about, what staff should be paid. And, part of the problem is that there really isn't any guidance in any of the documents that I inherited. It seems that, unfortunately, library staff were kind of subject to the whims of the previous director in some cases where it came to pay. So Sam and I have started working with Kevin Johnston to just try to figure out, if we can come up with some sort of a basis to go forward and, put our staff sort of on par with some of the other town positions that do kind of similar jobs. So again, that's something that, I started working on shortly after I got here, and we are making progress on that, and I want to continue to do that this next fiscal year. And also the strategic plan. I think when we talked in January, if I recall, the last thing that we talked about was the idea of continuing to work on a strategic plan, but that we were not going to be able to do it to submit for this fall, that it would have to be something that we could do, submit in the fall, in October of 2021. And so I don't see any reason at this point to push that back. I think we can continue to work on it slowly. But again, it's something that I do think we need to take a little time, before we go into the community and ask people's opinions about, the future of the library. I'd like to get a little bit more distance from, the initial closure of the building and, just have a chance for, hopefully things to settle out a little bit from this, this pandemic issue before we try to, have focus groups and that sort of thing. Because I'm wondering about the quality of, the data that we'll get if we ask people at this point. But
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tim. Who's on
Yep.
the strategic plan subcommittee right now?
I am Sharon, and I know Sue is.
Sharon, Sue, and Becky, I believe.
That's correct.
And Laurie.
And Lori.
Lori.
Laurie Sabo, all right.
Oh, Lori did raise her hand. Okay.
Awesome.
Do any one of you four would like to be the chairperson?
No, thank you.
An honest person.
Can we?
That's not what he asked.
Can we? I would just suggest that we keep it sort of maybe ad hoc at this point, and then I can certainly start the discussion with the group about how we can sort of go forward from here and at least start laying out a plan for getting this done, like a schedule for working on the different parts and making sure that data is collected and things get sort of approved by the right dates.
That sounds great, Tim.
All right.
Will it have to be Zoom?
Yep.
It will not necessarily have to be Zoom. We could do it as a conference call. We could shout across the library parking lot, I suppose, if you wanted to do that.
But I thought this was a subcommittee and it had to be public.
If you're going to have a subcommittee and deliberate, talking to the Attorney General.
Yeah, no, it's not going to have any deliberation at this point. I mean, what I'll probably do is just reach out maybe to each one of you individually first, and then we can figure out a time to just get together to look at. I'd like to look at a couple of different options for for the planning process, and think about what the advantages and disadvantages of a couple of these processes might be.
Tim, I think it's fine if you're talking to one of the other library trustees one-on-one or whatever, there's no deliberation.
Mm-hmm.
But for my discussion, feel free, there's the Attorney General's got a website, and her office accepts calls from, pretty much any citizen. I don't even think you have to be a citizen, but my understanding is if you're gonna have a meeting, it can't be like down at the parking lot. I'm not saying it can't be at the parking lot, but I mean, it's gotta be broadcast,
Yep.
noticed, posted, all that. I mean.
Okay, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, I feel like the ogre here, but I mean, I did spend a lot of time.
All right.
Immersed in the life, so.
Sort of being just looking at the clock, it's about 10:07. I just wanted to mention these last two things. Library directors, evaluation of library directors' performance. So why am I mentioning that? Because it is something that the board does have to do on an annual basis, and I received an evaluation after 3 months on the job, but for various reasons, it hasn't happened since. So I'd like to just ask you guys to consider doing that or thinking about that. I believe it's December when it happened the last time. Also, I wanted to just ask you all to think about if you have particular needs or questions as board members about board development. I believe, Becky, did you say you attended one of the online trustee trainings today?
Yeah, just last night.
Okay, yesterday, yeah. So let me know if there are other things that information that you would need, because I can either look it up or we can see about arranging some sort of training for folks.
Yeah, it was 90 minutes of just sheer information. It was very mind-boggling. So
Yeah.
I took a lot of notes, and they sent a lot of links to get more information. So it was good.
Becky, did they talk specifically about how to handle positions during the pandemic?
Yeah, there was a lot of pandemic talk, and of course, the other big thing is about library culture, especially with like Black Lives Matter and all sorts of ethnicities and all that other cultural things. Does all of our patrons feel welcomed and accepted at the Ayer Library? So
pretty topical.
Yeah, it covered a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the last thing I will just mention, it didn't quite get on the agenda here, but I think thinking about the uncertain financial future, I think we should continue to work on the board's sort of nonprofit status and thinking about diversifying ways that the board can potentially seek funding for the library down the road if it comes to that. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. Tim and I talked a little bit about that. That's an excellent point.
So could if we're going to discuss this performance review, could we get a copy of the previous one? Or
yep.
Did you say that you had a form to evaluate employees that you might also want to share?
I can do that, and I think actually that reminds me, I wanted to make sure that you all still had access to the Google Drive folder where I had copied a lot of the bylaws and articles of incorporation and past meeting minutes and things like that, because I did put a copy of my contract up there, and I believe a copy of my evaluation up there as well. But yeah, we can certainly share the sort of evaluation forms that we developed for the rest of the staff.
Tim, is your job description in there as well?
Yes, it should be.
Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Are we actively moving forward right now with the reinstatement 501c3 status, or is that sort of on hold?
It's been paused in part because we need to try to round up some information for the accountant. So
Okay.
basically, she's looking for, the annual financial reports from the board for the past 8 or so years. Going back to about 2010 or 11. I have
Okay.
started doing a little bit of digging into the files, and I have not come up with very much, I have to say. So,
Well, wouldn't Joanne Quigley have all of that as the treasurer?
unless she turned it over to Dana. I thought she turned over all her files to Dana.
I
So
think she did as well.
we'd have to check with Dana.
So
Okay.
we'll have to wait till Dana. We'll have to wait till Dana does. Okay, thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, didn't hear that last part. We'll have to wait till.
Till
Well,
Dana.
Dana couldn't be here tonight, so we'll have to, I can try to connect with her, actually.
Yeah, if you would, Tim, that'd be great. So we won't have a treasurer's report, director's report. I mean, is there anything else you want to tell us from the directorship, Tim?
I don't think so. Did anybody have any questions about the May director's report?
No, but I would like to know if on your next email to all of us, if you could give us information on how to access the Google Drive.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know.
I'll get you guys reconnected.
Okay. Thanks, Tim.
Good. And then, do we have approval of the minutes from the May 27th to 20 meeting?
Does anybody have any corrections? Nobody emailed me. Does anybody have anything that they need changed on those? You'll
No.
notice there's a new format. I want to thank Tim. He looked at some things that were being done on other boards, including the selectmen, and I think that it's really streamlined a little bit, so I thank him for that.
All right, I'll
Yeah.
take do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from May 27, 2020?
So move.
All right, Sue Kennedy moves. Second, anybody?
I
Second.
second.
Second, Sharon, I think I heard. All right, all those, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposition?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposition. It passes unanimously. All right, thank you. So new business, scheduling next meeting, I guess we've done that.
We've done that.
We're done.
All right, I've got about 3 minutes of 7, so anything else anybody wants to bring up in the next 3 minutes before we,
One thing, particularly for Tim, I sent out my new email address, and I'm sure you've got lots of important things, but you sent most of the threads and then everyone, but it's skennedy@ayer.ma.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you.
well, I also have a new email address, thanks to Cindy Knox. However, I really haven't started to use it yet because I'm sort of uncomfortable with it. So when I get a little more comfortable, probably by next meeting, I'll let you all know. But until then, just go with the old AOL address, okay?
Have you been able to log in, Bob? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
Not without Cindy.
Yeah,
No. Not without Cindy Knox. I'm going to practice a little bit more.
Okay.
Hey, Cindy, I have a question for you. Did they finally change the agreement so that when you sign it, it doesn't say you can't use a computer at home to do business for the city?
The spirit of that statement and that policy does not include email. And when we update the policies again, we'll make that explicit, but that is what the town manager said is, and I agree that never meant email. Everybody uses their town email on their own computers.
Oh, okay.
And I have no problem with anybody doing that. Mostly that was like financial software, and some of the other internal systems that we have. That's what that part meant.
So how tough is it to change that agreement?
Well, we get the committee together, rewrite, make the changes to the policy and review the whole thing while we're at it, and then turn it over to the Board of Selectmen for approval.
It's
So
only been, what, 5 years that I've been on the board?
That policy is older than that, I think. We did update it a few years ago. When we all come up for air, we're going to review all of those the next fiscal year. So.
Okay.
Yeah, technology changes a lot faster than policy, unfortunately.
Doesn't it?
Well, listen, I really enjoyed this and I appreciate it very much. I've got about 10 seconds before 7 p.m. I don't want to overstay our welcome.
I
Anything-
move that we adjourn this meeting.
I
All right,
second.
that's a motion. Second by Deborah, moved by Cindy. All those in, any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Unanimously. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tim.